In this video, we will discover the positions to please your partner if you think you have a small manhood. Also, if you want to get rid of all your complexes, watch this video until the end. We will share with you different tips, lifestyle habits, recommended positions, techniques, etc. First, what is a small manhood? Small manhood. What to do and what solutions to adopt. Many men are obsessed with the size of their manhood. Some wonder if their size is normal or if the pleasure they give women is related to the size. Whatever the source of his concerns, a man who is not satisfied with the size of his manhood is a frustrated man, and he is exposing himself to negative consequences on his love life. Indeed, anxiety and lack of self-confidence can lead to erectile dysfunction such as impotence and premature release. That's why it's important to take the problem seriously, to get informed, and to try different solutions in order to put an end to these complexes. It is difficult to define correctly what is a small manhood, and not all scientists agree on these characteristics. Here, we will consider a small manhood is smaller than average manhood, at rest, and when hard, but still within the normal range. Some figures. The average size of a manhood is 9.16 centimeters at rest and 13.12 centimeters when hard. Of course, these figures are only an average, and many men are either above or below. Nevertheless, manhood is considered normal size when its dimensions are between 6 and 11 centimeters at rest and 11 and 20 centimeters when hard. Very few men are excluded from this normal range. So, having a smaller than average manhood between 6 and 9.16 centimeters is not considered exceptional or aberrant, but quite normal. However, many men have a complex about these, and this can lead to serious psychosomatic problems such as anxiety, intimate dysfunction, or disturbed libido. Not to be confused with micromember. A study was conducted to highlight the distortion that men have about the size of their manhood. It revealed that about 90 men who consulted for suspected micromember, 0% were diagnosed with it. Indeed, when it comes to a complex, we tend to accentuate everything. A small manhood becomes a micromember. However, the size of a micromember is far from the dimensions of a normal manhood. Indeed, a micromember does not exceed 932 centimeters while hard. Only 0.6% of the world's population is diagnosed as having a micromember. What women think. Nearly 1 man in 2 is not satisfied with the size of his manhood, according to a scientific study. However, the same study found that 85% of women are satisfied with the size of their partner's manhood. In addition, another clinical study highlighted the importance that women place on the size. In this research, 375 women were interviewed and asked to rate the importance they place on manhood size during intercourse. The results are as follows. 1% of women consider this criterion as very important, 20% as important, 55% as not important, 20% as unimportant. So, if many men give a lot of importance to the size of their manhood, women do it much less. You should also know that most men who have a complex about the size of their manhood actually have a normal size. What are the causes of a small manhood? There are no scientific studies explaining the causes of a small manhood. In fact, the size of manhood can be attributed to genetics and hormone levels during adolescence. If you feel that you have a small manhood, we encourage you to avoid taking hormonal drugs and to seek advice from a specialist who will be able to guide you and suggest appropriate and safe solutions. What are the consequences of having a small manhood? If your manhood is smaller than average, you may wonder if this could have consequences on your love life. There is no evidence linking a small manhood to intimacy problems. In fact, small manhood function normally and do not interfere with the quality of an intimate relationship. However, the anxiety that a man may develop about the size of his manhood is one of the causes of intimate dysfunction. Indeed, the size complex can, for some men, lead to physical consequences on their intimacy, such as rigidity dysfunction and libido disorders. As a matter of fact, if you think you have rigidity dysfunction, you want to know for sure, fill out the questionnaire in the description and you will have the answer in 5 minutes. The small manhood complex. Manhood is wrongly considered small. Researchers have been interested in how a man sees his manhood and why it seems smaller. This phenomenon can be, in some cases, defined as body dysmorphic syndrome. For example, perceiving his manhood smaller than it is. Age. Most men are affected during puberty. Heredity. Certain genes can favor the appearances of this disorder. Negative life experiences, such as being teased, bullied, or abused as a child. Character traits. Certain aspects of the personality can promote this feeling, such as lack of self-confidence or perfectionism. Societal pressure. Adult movies and our society's standards of beauty can make some men feel complexed. Neurological disorders. Anxiety or depression can be a cause of body dysmorphic syndrome. Be careful. This disorder can occur in many men. So, before wanting to enlarge your manhood, we advise you consult a health professional who will be able to guide you and direct you to find the solution which is appropriate for you. So, if you do suffer from small manhood complex, following these tips can be a good start to get you out of it. You can also check our video, How to Make Your Package Bigger Naturally, to get more insights on the subject. How to deal with a small manhood. One of the best ways to fight against the complex of a small manhood is to assume its size. Here we give you 3 ways to tackle and solve your size problem. A small manhood can give as much pleasure. One of the preconceived ideas about intimacy is that large manhood gives women more pleasure. This is totally false. In fact, there are 3 points to know. Number 1, the lady part is small, flexible, and extensible, so it can be adapted to any shape. Number 2, deep thrusting and female pleasure are not directly related. In fact, climax often comes from the stimulation of the love button and the vibrations that are made to it. Number 3, the supposed special spot area is located at the entrance of the lady part, so the woman's pleasure would not be directly linked to thrusting but to stimulations made on the love button. Positions to be favored. Many men put thrusting at the center of intercourse. As a result, these individuals will more easily complex on the size of their manhood, thinking that it is the size that brings pleasure. However, to give pleasure to your partner, there are other means, such as increasing desire and excitement, the stimulation of the woman's love button, tactical sensations. Indeed, pleasure is not a question of performance and big size. In fact, lovemaking should be enjoyable for both partners and a time of pleasure and fun, not anxiety. If you have a small manhood, there is no position to avoid. You can choose positions where thrusting is deep, like for andromac or doggy style, but it is also possible to choose positions and games that stimulate your partner. Nevertheless, we cannot assure you that one position is better than another. Indeed, your choices will depend on your tastes and those of your partner. So, if we have to give you one piece of advice, communicate. Here's a list of 12 positions to give her pleasure. Number 1, the andromac. This position, where the woman sits on the man who is laying down, allows not only a deep thrusting, but it also gives all the powers to the woman to find the best angle and the best rhythm so that she can feel intense pleasure. Number 2, doggy style. It allows to reach climax quickly, and this even with a small manhood. Indeed, it is ideal for small sizes because it promotes deep thrusting. Just in case, let's clarify. The woman gets on all fours, on the bed in general, and the man gets behind, between her thighs, on his knees. Number 3, the swing. The man sits with his legs stretched out while the woman straddles him with her back to him. This way, there is no risk of manhood coming out. Plus, it allows the woman to control the angle and speed, like the andromac, the oyster. While it's best to avoid the oyster position with a large manhood because it can be uncomfortable, a small manhood can go all the way. How does it work? The woman lies on her back with her knees bent towards her partner's shoulders, who is above, an ideal position because it also stimulates the special spot. Number 5. The secret offering. As pleasant as its name suggests, this position is ideal for discovering new sensations because the lady part is more constricted, which is therefore perfectly suited to small manhood, whereas it could hurt with a large one. How does it work? The woman lies on her side with one leg bent towards her chest, while the man kneels and straddles her leg. Number 6. The reverse Amazon. In this position, your partner is in control. Sitting on top of you with her back to you, she moves back and forth to get the maximum sensation. Number 7. The butterfly. Your partner is lying on her back. You are on your knees and hold her legs over your shoulders. Your partner will have a lot of pleasure because the thrusting will be deeper. Number 8. The big X. This is like the 69 position. You place yourself upside down on your partner, but your private parts are on hers. This position allows her to feel the thrust. Number 9. Standing, facing the wall. Standing, facing the wall, your partner on her forearms, she turns her back to you. She can arch her back to get more sensation. Number 10. Raised missionary. Your partner is lying on the bed and brings her legs on her chest. This will allow you to thrust deeply. The best part, it's romantic because you look at each other in the eyes. Number 11. The little spoon. This position is the more relaxing one. It is also romantic since you are stuck tightly together and can feel your lover's skin. The stimulation is more intense and offers a lot of pleasure. Number 12. The reclining leaf. Your partner is lying on her back, her feet on your shoulders, and you are standing slightly backwards. The best thing about this position is that it allows a deep thrust and your partner can control the speed. Number 4. Tips to make your manhood look bigger. If you're really self-conscious about the size of your manhood, there are some techniques to help you get past this discomfort. Number 1. Keep yourself physically fit. Excess fat can tend to visually reduce the size of manhood and make it look smaller. Number 2. Go into the dark. Stress, anxiety, and cold are factors that can cause your manhood to shrink. You may be afraid of your partner's reaction. In this case, it's quite possible at first to make love in the dark. This will allow you to become a little more familiar with your partner and can also be exciting. Number 3. Natural methods to get a bigger manhood. There are dietary supplements and other completely natural techniques that can increase the size by a few inches. Number 4. Assume your size. Easier said than done. One solution is to learn to accept yourself. This can be done by talking about your complex to your partner, who will be able to reassure you. You can also face your fear gradually. For example, you can avoid hiding yourself when you undress in a locker room. This will allow you to learn little by little to accept the look of others. What to do if you have a small manhood. Having a smaller than average manhood is not a handicap or a flaw, but it is completely normal. Nevertheless, some men have a complex about the size. This can result in the development of an obsession or dysmorphia. These disorders have consequences on the quality of intercourse. For example, it can lead to some dysfunctions such as release disorders, rigidity dysfunction, or libido. We have given you some advice on how to get past this complex. Nevertheless, if you are unable to overcome this problem, we advise you to turn to a health professional such as a therapist. Indeed, he or she will be able to guide you and accompany you in order to overcome this negative feeling.